Guys, ChaseWins.com, Thursday, the 24th of March. Happy Thursday, everyone. Getting ready to embark on another big weekend. Going to kind of round out our, normal, throughout the week type plays today. We always consider our weekends to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the main week to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So again, another winning day yesterday. Congrats to everyone. As you know, if you watch yesterday's video, or if you're a client, or if you're, just a follower or whatever, or if you know somebody that is, and that means you are well aware that there was a game of the week yesterday in the NHL, and that there was talk about not just a game of the week in college basketball, but also a game of the month coming up. And all of this was kind of crammed into a few days, which I don't necessarily like doing, because I feel like sometimes people get overwhelmed if they're not an all access member, or if they haven't been a member or a follower for a long period of time, and they don't understand how fast paced, I work and the company is to it, in terms of investing in the volume of things that we do and how quickly they can come about because of the way that I analyze plays and teams and players and things, that sometimes it can be overwhelming to the point where you can miss out on something, or you kind of get gun shy and decide not to do something, and of course that ends up costing you what money you could have made, so on and so forth. But again, this time of year, unless you're just brand new to this, you should know this is the time of year, more so than any, that these types of plays can be released and condensed into a very small, sample size of time. Really the only other time where you would get used to it being like this would be throughout the regular season of football, where you have college football all day on Saturday, every Saturday, and then NFL all day on Sunday, every Sunday. So for there to be as many games as there are, especially in college football, it's not uncommon to go 2, 3, 4, even 5 weeks straight where you have a game that rates out at a game of the week or even game of the month. And then, of course, if you turn around and you have one rate out in the NFL the same way, well, that's back-to-back days with those types of plays. And not to mention when you get into NHL and NBA, or as you're finishing up baseball season, because again, the regular season runs through September every year, and then of course you've got October, which is all of the playoffs, and the World Series can even go into the first full week of November. So you can really condense things into a 3, 4, 5 day period where it seems like every day there's a big release. And while the people that have never been with us before, and the people that just want to hate and run their mouth will say, oh, they're just fishing for sales. Guys, there are times where I don't even promote it. I'll send out an email blast, and again, that's not even to sell it. That's just to let their people know that it's there. Now, the main reason for that is so that the all-access clients don't overlook it when they log in. Because if they log in and they go to their members area, they'll see the link that says, hey, there's a game of the week or whatever. They can click on it, and boom, there's the play, and I don't ever have to say a word. But sometimes when they're used to just logging in and clicking the main premium and top plays, because that's all in one section, and a play like a game of the week would be, off by itself, I don't want them to just not be thinking about it, completely overlook it, and then miss out on the money. So I do send out an email blast, or the team sends out an email blast that basically just lets them know, like, hey, it's there. This is the time you need to lock it in by, and so that way they at least know that they need to go play it. And I won't even promote it. So if it was all about sales, I would be on here every hour on the hour saying buy, 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 buy. Sometimes if I do promote it by doing a video, the video may only go up an hour or two before the game starts, where if you look at these other cappers that try to mimic what I do in terms of what they release, they're doing it 24 hours in advance. And it's not because they have to play 24 hours in advance. They're fishing for anything that gives them even the slightest bit of, oh, this is going to win, and they want to release it as far in advance as they can, so that they can promote it the most that they can and sell as many as they can. That's who's fishing for sales. So yesterday, obviously, we had a big game of the week, and I told you that there was talks about game of the week and potential game of the month on back-to-back days in college basketball. One being today, one being tomorrow, all Sweet 16 action. I was looking at a possible play for one of the lower tier tournaments for this weekend that very well could make the cut. I don't know. It's not something that I'm looking heavy into right now, and I'm not really focusing on it until the day of the game, just because there's a lot more to worry about in these big games. But one of the games that tonight that is the whole world's going to be watching, whether you're a fan, whether you're a foe, or whether you're just a fan of basketball in general, is Texas Tech and Duke. And while that may not be the best overall matchup that there is in terms of, the wow factor, it's probably the most meaningful game that's been played so far this week in terms of, number one, it is a Sweet 16 game. You do have one of your top seeds, which have been dropping like flies here recently with Auburn losing. I mean, Auburn wasn't obviously a number one seed, but you get what I'm saying. Kentucky, a number two seed, falls. I mean, there's all these teams that are falling. Obviously, Baylor, the number one seed, falling to my Tar Heels, which they will play against UCLA on Friday, which I think overall best matchup is probably the best Sweet 16 matchup there's going to be. It's going to be a tough matchup for both sides, especially the Tar Heels, but I'm excited. If you're going to be in Philadelphia, let us know, and we'll link up. Hopefully, it's going to be a quick in and out trip this weekend, and it's going to depend on what happens tomorrow. And if Carolina were to win, and we grab tickets for, Sunday or Monday, or I guess what is it, Sunday that they're putting it on, which will be the Elite Eight, and then of course you'll fall back. They'll finish out all the lower tier tournaments next week, and then next weekend you will have your Final Four, your semifinal games, and then I guess a week from Monday is probably, if I'm thinking right, 8-9 o'clock that night because it's in New Orleans. That will be when there will be the national championship game. So we're just, right at a week and a half before crowning a national champion. I can't wait. There will be a Final Four package for those who want it with props and all that kind of stuff like we do the Super Bowl. That will be released as soon as the Elite Eight it wraps up. As soon as it's over and there is the Final Four is solidified, that will go out and plays will be coming out over the course of the week, and you'll be able to cash in a ton over the last 72 hours of the tournament. But we do have a game of the week tonight, and it's in the Duke-Texas Tech game. The reason this is one of the bigger games that you're going to see is because obviously this is Coach K's last year. That's the story of it is, it's win or go home. Coach K, every time he takes the floor since the end of that ACC tournament, and of course the end of the regular season where he got scorched by the Tar Heels in Cameron for his last game in that building, which again is bittersweet. I love that it happened as a Tar Heel fan, but had it happened against somebody else, let's say they were playing anybody else, I would have felt bad for Coach K. I would have been like, damn, dude, 42 years with that university, all of the accomplishments, achievements, longevity, and, that building would be the most meaningless building in college basketball. It probably wouldn't even be standing today, because it would have been torn down and made into another study hall had it not been for Coach K. And the last time you're ever going to coach your team as a head coach in that building, you have to lose. And you got to get your ass kicked. But what makes it even sweeter is that he had to do it to his, mortal enemy, which just so happens to be my Tar Heels. So anyway, Texas Tech is a very good team. To be honest with you, I think Texas Tech has more of what it takes to beat Duke on any given night. If this wasn't a Sweet 16 game, or if this wasn't, every time they take the floor now, it could be Coach K's last game, period. So there's a lot at stake. And I've been breaking this game down ever since Duke took down Michigan State. A lot of people had Duke to fall at that game. They were just kind of following the trend of these number 1 and 2 seeds losing. And then, of course, Gonzaga having not played like a number 1 seed at all in this tournament. And for most people believing that their first 2 wins really were lucky wins. I'm not going to call them lucky wins. I am going to say that they had no room for error. Had they committed those errors, they very well could have dropped. But I've been telling you since the beginning of the season, since halfway through the season, since right before the tournament, and since the first game of the tournament, that Gonzaga has not, nor is the best basketball team in the sport. It's just not. They were not the year that they made the national championship. They just so happened, and I believe me, I believe that was the best Gonzaga team that there has ever been. And I still believe at best they were a Sweet 16 team. They had favorable matchups the way that the bracket was laid out. So obviously getting through those first couple of games and making it to that spot, they skated through a win that was a little bit difficult. But then out of any teams that they could be facing in the Elite Eight, they got the favorable matchup, so they won. And then it kind of came the same way with the Final Four, where, it wasn't an easy task by any means, but it was definitely the most favorable matchup they could have had, so they scraped out another win. And of course, the whole world said, this is their year. They finally made it this far. They're going to do it. And what happens? North Carolina shows them it doesn't matter what you do over the course of a few years. This is decades. This is a generation of being the best. And we proved it. And you did it with the best coach. You did it with the best team that's not the best team he ever put together. His 2005 national championship was, I think, the best Tar Heel team ever assembled as a whole. And that goes back to the 80s with Jordan and Perkins and all those guys. While none of them were the best player, obviously. I think as a whole, that was the most dominant Tar Heel team he ever put out. But we'll go into that another time. But another game of the week tonight. The game is set for 9:40, 9:45-ish. I don't believe it will start then. I don't believe we'll see a tip-off until at least 10 o'clock. And that's because, obviously, you have the Gonzaga game going on first. And they've got that game set for, 7:30? It's a West Region game. There's just, with media and this being the Sweet 16 and all that, there's just no way they're going to get out in under 2 hours to allow this team to come out, do 15 minutes of warm-up, do their little pregame stuff, and then tip off. It's just not going to happen. To be honest with you, I don't see the Gonzaga game even wrapping up and finishing until the Duke game was set to start. So, and if that's the case, this could be a 10:15, 10:30 tip-off, which, again, even better because I do believe that will allow so many more people to invest and get into this game and not miss out on it. But the game is set for 9:45, so again, take that with a grain of salt. It's not going to start at that time. And what we're going to do is we're going to monitor it closely, and we're going to take, once they go to the commercial break, for saying, all right, tip-off is next, that's when the purchase link will be pulled off of the site, because that way you'll only have 2 or 3 minutes before they come back and officially tip off. And once that game's tipped off, if you haven't already purchased a play, you won't get it. You won't be able to cash in on it. This is a true tournament game, so it's not a 5-unit game of the week. It is a 7-unit game of the week, again, because it has to rate out as a game of the month per my ratings for me to release it as a game of the week if it's in the NCAA tournament within March Madness. So this is a big deal. Hitting a huge play last night, and yes, there is the possibility of that game of the month, which would be a 10-unit banger tomorrow, but that won't be decided until very late tonight or tomorrow morning once all the information that I'm gathering and basically doing advanced analytics here to try to figure out where the edge is. Or again, no, I know where the edge is. How much of an edge is there? How much? Because again, sometimes it's not as much as meets the eye, or it's more than meets the eye. So you got to dig deep and know where the edge and how much of an edge there is. And if there is enough, obviously, then you look at within the financials of it, how much financial value is there, and does it warrant a big investment like 5, 7, 10 units, something like that? So, yes, there is the possibility of that. And yes, there is going to potentially be a very, very big. There's 2 games that I'm looking at right now in the NBA. And again, there's technically 3, but one of them I do not believe will make the cut, because while it shows right now there being the value there, I don't believe that the personnel is going to hang with it. I believe that they're going to make shifts in, the starting lineup, which is normal for the NBA, and especially for this particular team. I believe that over the next 24 hours, changes will get made, and that will remove all edge from the matchup itself, and then of course that will fluctuate whatever line does come out and probably remove at least 60 to 65% of what value could have been there, removing that out of question. But yes, there is two big games that I've been looking at really honestly for a solid week now, and we've still got a little while before those games start, but both of them are this weekend, somewhere between Friday and Sunday. I'm not going to say when, and one of them I have a feeling very well could be that, elusive NBA game of the year, something that we did not have in 2020, 2021. So, people are chomping at the bit. We have not lost an NBA game of the week, month, or anything like that this year. They've been limited. Again, we've only had 3 game of the weeks. We've had 1 game of the month. That's it. And, we've cashed in all of them. But to be able to make sure that we get that 10 unit out, and again, maybe the other one rates out as a game of the week or something, and you have 2 of them. I don't know. That's why I'm saying there could be a lot going on this weekend, and I hope there is, but we'll just have to wait and see. What that puts us at is, obviously, if you watched yesterday's video, you got to see the recap, us picking up right at 60. It was right at 16 units, or just shy of it, for last week is what we finished out at, going 64% for the week. And again, a great week. There's nothing to turn your nose up at that. It was a fantastic week. All access clients making, over $15,000, for a week of some, they don't even have to work at. We do the work, they reap the benefits. The exact numbers were 43, 25, and 1, 64% winning percentage, 15.85 units of pure profit. So fantastic ROI, beating last year's numbers for that same week. By almost 4 solid units. This week, obviously, doing just a hair bit more last year in this particular week. So, we did right. I mean, obviously, you can go back and look at it, so then you'll know that we want to beat that by a few units. And then our long shot goal, which we've been hitting basically every week, is going to be 25 units of pure profit for this week. And again, we can do it. We start out Monday this week. We did go 1-1. There really wasn't a lot out there to get excited about. So we went 1-1. We dropped just a hair bit of juice. Tuesday, we didn't have a ton of action, but we did win our top play, so we did pick up positive units there. And then we get into last night where, again, we made money. We did sadly have a loss on the one game that we had in college basketball yesterday. It was an NIT game, BYU money line. First half started out, as expected. I didn't expect they were going to blow them out of the water. I wasn't even overly confident in the spread, which is why we took them on the money line, which in my opinion should have been into the 160s. We got it at 135. So we played that, and then the second half, it was almost like BYU they didn't want to play no more. They were like, dude, we're done. I don't know why you wouldn't have decided that before the NIT and just called it a season, but I mean, good Lord, you've only got another few days and this thing would have been over, and you could have at least hung your hat on something. But they're out of it. We dropped that game, so that was unfortunate. But another great day in the NBA. Memphis Grizzlies +2, outright winners there. The only loss we had, we did take the Timberwolves +2. That was the one loss of the day. And then we had our nightcap was the Dallas Mavericks -9.5. I mean, there was a huge point swing in that one. I had my line set at 14.5, so a ton of value there. Almost enough to make a top play out of. But -9.5 premium play, nice winner there. So if that's all you played, you would have had a 2-in-1 day and a profitable day at that. But if you're also a VIP member of the YouTube channel and you get those YouTube, exclusive plays that are not put out anywhere else, you would have gotten an additional play, which was the Oklahoma City Thunder +3. We put a half unit on that one, and of course, they won outright as well. So, 3 underdogs yesterday, 1 favorite, 4 total plays released, going 3-1, picking up, basically 1.5 units of profit because we only had a half unit invested in that OKC play. So, hopefully, you got that. So, again, you do lose the BYU game, but you start to, make up, ground and traction with the NBA. The NHL yesterday did lose the free play on the Colorado Avalanche, so that was unfortunate. The only other game that we had involvement in as far as the premium card goes was the Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres, over 5.5 goals at -$1.35. Whoever came up with that line should be looking for a new form of employment. But it was an easy win. So again, we played 2 different separate games in the premium card. We did drop the Avalanche. We did pick up that, But again, sorry about the free play loss. We'll make it right today, of course. And then our game of the week yesterday was the Blackhawks and the Ducks, over 5.5 goals. That was the only game of the week that we've had in 2022 in the NHL that has gone to the end, down to the wire. Or most of them haven't even gone into the third period before cashing. Some of them don't even get a full minute into the second period before cashing. This one, there was less than a minute to go, and we were still, we got an empty netter by the Blackhawks to push it over. There were ample opportunities to do it, which I don't understand why they didn't. But in going into the last minute, obviously them being up 3-2, we were still, a half goal shy of being able to cash. Obviously, we knew the goalie would get pulled. You cross your fingers and hope. The Blackhawks were able to end up setting up a very good defensive play with their wingman, and it just put it down to the left side of the ice. They were able to come in transition and basically be left with not just an empty net, but someone down ice unguarded to be able to just kind of coast, make a very accurate close-range shot. And then it was an empty netter that pushed it over with, I don't know, a minute to go, maybe a minute and a half. I mean, it was less than 2 minutes. I know that, and it cashed. So while I hate them going down to the wire, that's the only one that's done that in the last 3 months. So sometimes it happens, but a win is a win. Picked up a big 5-unit, massive game of the week winner there, and it was another day of profit. So 2 days in a row of profit, 1 day where we had a split day, lost a little juice, and we come into Thursday going even bigger. Now, here's the kicker for today. Not only is there a game of the week going, not only is it a 7-unit play, but you still get it for the normal price of $50. Win or get 3 days of all plays and all sports absolutely free. That's a given. Now, the other caveat is there's going to be multiple top plays today. 2 for sure, possibly even 3 if I get goalie confirmation on one of these games for the goalie that I hope's going in. If that happens, there will be 2 NHL and 1 NBA Daily Top Play, but there will be at least 2. So if you're an all sports member or you want to buy just the Daily Top Plays, you can do that as well. But do not miss out, because you can make well over 10, possibly even 15 units today with everything. ChaseWins.com. Go get on it. If you miss out today, you hate money, because this very well could be the biggest, if not the second biggest overall day of the week that we're going to have, and you're not going to want to miss out. You are going to want to be a part of it. 2 top plays already locked in. One of them I do see, odds changing, lines moving, so you'll want to get on that, but I'm hoping there could be at least 2 NHL ones as well. If there are 3, it will be $50 to get all 3 of them. If there's 2, we'll do 2 for the price of 1, $25, but make sure you grab that while you're getting the game of the week. So other than that, and I'm going to do the extra day promo today. So $50 for 3 days of all sports, premium, and daily top play. That carries you Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you do it before midnight Eastern time, you will get Sunday absolutely free. But now if you do buy late, 10:30, 11, 11:30, sometime before midnight, but you didn't get the action for Thursday, then you will get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But at 12:01 Eastern time, you buy it, you'll still get the normal price, $49 for 3 days, but there will not be a 4th day added on to it. So keep that in mind. So a lot going on. Game of the week, $50, win or get 3 days for free. The 3-day all sports pass, the extra day promo, giving you a 4th day at no charge. All sports, premium and daily top play. If you are not on, an all sports pass or an all access pass already, obviously, if you want the big deals, you can get them with on behalf of or in memory of Jeff Watkins. DM me on Twitter, link in the description if you have any questions on all of that. We'll get more in detail later on. And then all of the daily top plays would come with that all sports pass, so you can really go grab that for $50, then go grab the game of the week for $50, and boom, $100 spent. You'll make your money back 10 times over in the first day. Think about it, and then get the rest of the week just to coast and make money and not have to worry about, buying anything, spending any money, unless you want NASCAR later this week or any of the other potential big releases. But you'll make enough profit tonight to say, okay, I'm going to go and buy every big play that they potentially release, so you don't miss out on anything, and you make 20, 25, even maybe even 30 units of pure profit over 4 days with less than a few $100 expense invested into getting it. So other than that, and if you want the game of the week tonight, if you buy either the NBA or the NHL the remainder of the seasons at 249 for the entire season, you will get tonight's game of the week in college basketball. Even though you didn't get college basketball season, doesn't matter. You will get the college basketball 7-unit game of the week for free, but you must purchase, we'll say, by 9:30 to make it easy. That way we don't have people having to check it every 2 minutes. By 9:30 you will get instant access to that once your purchase is done for that, and then whichever one you buy, you'll get it. You'll get a daily top play in no matter what. So again, congrats to another winning day yesterday. Game of the week for all of the people that were on it. If you missed out, I'm sorry. You were warned. It was another winner, just as everyone is in the NHL, and we're going to keep killing it. Going over my notes here, I'm going to give you a couple of free plays, and I'll do two. One NBA, one NHL. NBA 9 p.m. I'm not going to get too in-depth in this one. I think that this one is just kind of being, I think it's an overreaction to what's happened over the past week, and them just kind of looking at the basics on paper and not digging deep into the matchup itself. Phoenix has kind of hit this slump where they don't look like, and win or lose, it doesn't matter. They've appeared as if they are not the team that they have been for the past 2 years. And granted, that's correct. But if you actually look at it, while they have struggled overall the way that it looks from, the 10,000-foot view, it's really only been in two particular areas with a few different players that the struggling's taken place. And of course, there's just that, trickle-down effect to make everything look bad. But I really do believe if you look over what's happened over their past two games, the adjustments made have really livened it back up. And while you don't notice it in the outcome of the game or necessarily the score, it's because it takes a few games to really take true effect. And I think we saw that in the last game where you saw what they could do and what they will be doing. And I think tonight's going to look like something different. And I believe with, the few minor injuries that Denver's dealing with, if you look at their schedule over the past week versus Phoenix, I think that they're coming in, I think they're coming in with their backs against the wall a little bit more in terms of are they physically ready for it, not just mentally. I think over physicality standpoint, Phoenix is going to come in just a little bit more, amped up and ready for this game with the ability to come out and play fast. Denver's not going to have the ability to slow Phoenix down as much. Elevation will do that naturally, but again, Phoenix is a team that they're going to be affected less by your elevation in places like Utah and Denver than 90% of the NBA. Because again, while they're not there, they're, in Phoenix, Arizona, this is something not very uncommon. A lot of these players have spent time training in the offseason in places like this. So if you go look at players that have done that, Phoenix has got quite a few. So it can prepare them, and that elevation doesn't affect them negatively like it would do 99% of people, even athletes that go up there. So Phoenix catching 4 tonight, in my opinion, is inaccurate. I have this game as a pick'em in my notes. And I mean, even truth be told, if you wanted to go out there and kind of tweak a few numbers based on what I think have been overreactions, Phoenix could be as high as a 1-point favorite, as high as a 1-point road favorite in this game. I think more accurately, it would be a pick'em game to possibly Denver as a half-point favorite. But 4 points is too many when I've got Phoenix as about a 2% favorite in this game overall. And as far as percentages, the way that I grade it, likelihood of outcome of just outright winning the game, I've got a 54.7% outcome of Phoenix every single time based on the way that I think they'll lay out that starting five and their rotational players. So I'm going to take Phoenix today minus $1.15 at +4. I'm putting the 4 points in my back pocket. I don't think I'm going to put anything on the money line. If I do, I'll let you know. But as of right now, 4 points in the back pocket, 1 full unit premium play, Phoenix Suns +4, possibly an outright winner. I do think they can win this game outright against the Nuggets. And then transitioning over to the NHL, I like the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. There's two plays that I like on it, but I like them in regulation minus $1.50. Sure, there's better, I guess, value if you want to call it by taking it on the puck line, but they're not giving you enough. You're still having to lay juice. You're still having to lay big by dropping, a point and a half. And Carolina has not been consistent with covering. Multi-goal wins. They've won plenty of games by more than one goal, but if you look at it from a standpoint of games that they absolutely, without a doubt, should be able to, especially tonight with Carolina going up against an absolutely horrid goaltender that Dallas is putting in, and somebody who's played way too much here recently, it's a no-brainer that they should be able to win this game by 3+ goals. Dallas is just not consistent enough for me in covering, a puck line to be overexcited about it, and the fact that I would still have to lay $1.25, $1.30, and they would have to win by that versus only laying $1.50 and them just winning the game in regulation by just one. I think there's more value in that than there is on the puck line. So I'm going to take the Carolina Hurricanes in regulation tonight, or a three-way money line play, whatever your book calls it, at minus $1.50. Carolina needs to win the game within the 60-minute regulation time, and that is another premium play. I've got plays tonight on the Blues and the Flyers game, the Red Wings and the Islanders, another play in the Carolina game. There is a play in the Predators game tonight, the Blackhawks game, potentially. There's a lot of action in the NHL. There's more action in the NBA, including a top play. Some of those I just mentioned in the NHL will be top plays, and of course there will be action in college basketball. Most importantly, the game of the week against Texas Tech and Duke, going tonight, scheduled for 9:40. Again, probably not going to start till as late as 10:30. So get it when you can. Earlier the better. These numbers could change. Not only could they change, I actually expect them to change by at least something. So again, you want to get the most value, the best odds you can, setting yourself up to make the most money. 7-unit huge game of the week. Do not miss out. We love you guys. Congrats on another winning day. Road to 25 units or more this week. It's going to happen, especially with all of the big releases that we've got in the pipeline for this weekend that we hope pan out. And let's go cash another big day. Love you guys. We'll see you back for Friday, and hopefully I'll see some of you in Philly. Go Tar Heels. See you back for another one. Good luck. Congrats to everyone. And we will see every single one of you that want to join us in the winner's circle. Go get extra day promo 3 days and go get on the game of the week. Love you guys.